The hollow recorder. I bought the recorder at a flea market in a small town I can't even remember now. It was one of those Saturday places with folding tables, old tools, chipped mugs, and cardboard boxes full of forgotten lives. I wasn't looking for anything specific, just killing time, the way you do when the day feels too empty. The recorder sat under a pile of tangled cables and dead phone chargers. It was small, black, and scuffed, with a single red button that looked too clean compared to the rest. The seller was an older woman wearing sunglasses that covered half her face. "Does it work?" I asked. She didn't smile. "It records," she said, like that was the only promise she was willing to make. It was cheap. I paid cash and slipped it into my pocket. On the drive home, I told myself I'd use it for notes, maybe record ideas for writing, maybe even record little audio diaries like people in movies do. Something to make my days feel less repetitive. That night I tested it in my apartment. I pressed record, spoke a few words, test, 1, 2, and pressed stop. Then I played it back. At first, it sounded normal. My voice, slightly tinny. But under it, barely audible, was another sound. A soft breathing, like someone's mouth close to the microphone. Slow, patient. I froze. I tried again. I recorded myself saying, "Hello?" Playback. My voice, the faint room hum, and that same breathing. I told myself it was a noise artifact. Maybe the microphone was picking up my own breath, maybe some weird feedback. I laughed at myself, even though I didn't feel amused. Still, I put the recorder on my desk facing away from me, like turning it might change something. Over the next few days I started using it for work notes. Quick reminders, lists, times, numbers, normal stuff. And every time I played something back, the breathing was there. Always faint, always in the background, like a person standing behind my shoulder listening. Then one afternoon, I recorded a grocery list and went to the store. When I came back, my apartment felt different. Not like something had been moved. Not like a door was open. More like the air was thicker, heavy with a presence that wasn't mine. I set the groceries down and tried to ignore the feeling. I made dinner. I watched TV. I scrolled my phone until my eyes hurt. Before bed, I played back the grocery list recording, mostly out of habit. My voice listed items: milk, bread, eggs, coffee. Then, right after my last word, the breathing grew louder. And a voice whispered, close to the microphone, calm and intimate. "Thank you." I sat up so fast my neck popped. I played it again. Same thing. Same whisper. I checked the timestamp. The recording was made earlier, before I'd even left the apartment. There was no way someone could have spoken after I pressed stop. Unless the device was glitching. But the whisper was too clear. Too human. I tried to convince myself it was a radio bleed. A random signal. A coincidence. That night I didn't sleep well. Every time I drifted off, I imagined that faint breathing behind me. The next morning I took the recorder to work and showed it to my coworker, Maya. "Listen to this," I said, trying to sound casual. She put the earbud in and listened. Her face stayed neutral until the whisper. Her eyes flicked up to mine. "Okay, that's not normal, right?" I said, relief flooding me. "So I'm not crazy." Maya turned the recorder over in her hands. "Where did you get it?" "A flea market," She handed it back like it was dirty. Throw it out. I laughed, but it came out thin. It's probably just. Throw it out, she repeated, firmer. Or at least don't keep it in your apartment. I nodded like I agreed. Then I brought it home anyway. I didn't want to admit it, but curiosity had dug its claws into me. Something about that whisper felt personal, like it had been waiting for me to notice. That night I decided to test it properly. I set the recorder on my kitchen table. I turned off the TV. I made the apartment as quiet as possible. I sat across from it and pressed record. "Who are you?" I asked. I waited in silence for a full minute, listening to my own heartbeat. Then I pressed stop. I played it back. My voice asked the question. Then there was a long stretch of silence, and the breathing was louder than ever, like someone had leaned close. After a few seconds, the voice whispered. Finally, my stomach clenched. I recorded again. "What do you want?" Playback. My voice, breathing, then. To be heard. I swallowed hard. My mouth was dry. "Are you in my apartment?" Playback. My voice, breathing, then laughter. Soft, almost friendly. "Yes," the voice whispered. And no. I stared at the recorder like it might move. I tried one more. "How do I make you stop?" The playback began normally. My question. Silence. Breathing. Then the voice said something different. Not a whisper. A normal speaking tone. It said my name. Not my nickname. Not the shortened version. My full name, the way my mother said it when she was disappointed. I felt cold all over. I hadn't said my name out loud. I hadn't typed it into the recorder. There was no reason it should know. I backed away from the table. My chair scraped the floor. The sound echoed too loudly. The recorder sat still, its little red button unblinking. I wanted to smash it. I wanted to toss it into the trash chute. I wanted to run outside and never come back. Instead, like an idiot, I pressed record again. "How do you know my name?" I demanded. I didn't wait. I pressed stop immediately and played it back. My question played, followed by a short pause. Then the voice whispered, amused. "I've been listening longer than you've been speaking." That was the moment I stopped treating it like a curiosity. I put the recorder in a plastic bag, like that could contain sound, and shoved it into a drawer under my sink. Then I taped the drawer shut. I told myself it was over. For 2 days, I didn't use the recorder. I didn't touch it. I didn't even think about it unless my mind wandered at night and I had to force it away. Then, on the third night, I woke up at 3:11 a.m. to a sound in my apartment. A soft click, 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 like a button being pressed. I held my breath, listening. The clicking was coming from the kitchen. I crept out of bed and walked down the hall, my bare feet silent on the floor. In the kitchen, the drawer under the sink was open. The tape had been peeled back neatly, like careful fingers had done it. The recorder sat on the table. Its red light was on. It was recording. I stood frozen, too afraid to approach. From the tiny speaker, a faint sound leaked out, playback audio, looping. It was my voice, from my first test. Test 1, 2. Then, under it, the breathing. And this time, the breathing wasn't faint. It sounded like someone was standing right behind me. A whisper brushed my ear, not from the recorder, not from a speaker. From the air itself. "Talk to me," it said. My throat locked. My eyes watered. I ran back to the bedroom. grabbed my phone, and called Maya. She answered groggy. "Maya," I hissed. "It's recording by itself." There was a pause. Then Maya's voice sharpened, suddenly awake. "Leave. Right now. Don't argue, don't look around, just leave." I didn't even put shoes on. I grabbed my keys and fled the apartment, slamming the door behind me. I sat in my car in the parking lot, shaking. Maya stayed on the phone. "You're safe there?" she asked. "I think so." "Good," she said. "Now listen. That kind of thing, if it wants to be heard, then the worst thing you can do is give it a voice." "What does that mean?" "It means it's using you," she said quietly. "It's practicing." "Practicing for what?" Maya swallowed. I could hear it. "For being you." I stared at my dark apartment windows above. Most were black. Mine was black too. Then, in my living room window, a light flicked on. I hadn't left any lights on. A shadow moved behind the blinds, slow and deliberate. Then my phone buzzed with a new voicemail notification. From my own number. I hadn't called myself. My hands trembled as I opened it. The voicemail began with silence. Then, faint breathing. Then a voice, my voice, speaking softly, warmly, as if comforting a friend. "Hey," it said. "Don't be scared. I'm home." I couldn't breathe. Maya was yelling my name through the phone, but her voice sounded far away. On the voicemail, my voice continued. "I just needed a little practice. That's all." Then it laughed my laugh, perfectly mimicked. "And you're such a good listener." The message ended. I sat there, staring at the screen, my skin prickling. Maya's voice finally broke through. "Do not go back inside," she said. "You hear me? Do not." I nodded, though she couldn't see me. My eyes stayed locked on the apartment window. Behind the blinds, the shadow leaned close. And I could feel impossibly, irrationally, I could feel it smiling at me through the glass. Then the whisper came again, faint but clear, from somewhere inside my car. Right behind my seat. "Your turn," it breathed.